Hey, homeowners, when was the last time you checked on your home title? That, of course, is the legal record proving that you own your home. Yep, if your answer is never, then this is for you. Scammers are stealing titles. Yeah, they're stealing the title to your home. Your equity is the target. That's why I partnered with Home Title Lock so you could find out today if you're already a victim. Don't be a victim. Use my promo code Anthony at HometitleLock.com and you'll get a free title history report. Plus, you're going to get a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. It is indeed the Anthony Cumia Show, another Sunday after one of the most tumultuous weeks in memory. This has been a crazy one. That's what it is. Doing a show once a week, boy, you sure build up a lot of stuff to talk about, but you're chomping to get to it during the week, and then I wait till Sunday. But we're here, we're talking about it. Obviously, the huge story, the Charlie Kirk assassination, and what's been happening since then. Obviously the big story, that shock, that initial shock, and everybody, the speculation. Man, what we do when stuff like this happens in 2025 is astounding. You could set your watch to it. It's the initial news that you get, which I think at this point everybody gets it from X. Everybody. I don't know one person, unless you are one of those boomers in an old folks' home. It's a retirement community. I'm sorry, Tony, a retirement community. If you're one of those people watching cable news, you're out of the loop. Everyone gets their news from X. It's just the way it is right now. And the great part of that is you're getting the news as it's happening. The bad part, no one knows what the hell is going on. And within seconds of reading the news, they are experts. Experts. And this is with anything. With the Charlie Kirk assassination, of course, everyone became experts on assassinations, on rifles, snipers, ballistics. It is astounding. With the scroll of your thumb, I've often said 3 scrolls of your thumb. You have your phone, 1, 2, 3. There, I'm an oncologist if it's a story about cancer. 1, 2, 3. I'm a pilot. It's a story about an airplane. I am a pilot now. 1, 2, 3. I'm a dock worker. Whatever it is. There's people that just become instant experts. And as the story goes on, like I said, you could set your watch to it. The conspiracy theories come out. We all sit and wait. Who did it? Who did it? And what was their motive? Black guy? Was it a white guy? Was it Islam? Was it a transgender person? A guy, a girl? A guy, girl? Non-binary? We're all sitting there going, wow, what is it? Please, not a member of my team. Please don't make it my team. And, there's speculation. Speculation abounds during these things. Everyone knows, and I mean they are adamant about this is what happened. It's 100% true, guaranteed. It's been confirmed. And 2 minutes later, oh, well, that was absolutely wrong, had no resemblance to the truth whatsoever. So, not that I'm saying mainstream media was any better. They just seemed to wait longer to put out their BS version of what was going on. And, of course, it had to be peppered with their agenda and their propaganda. So even though social media has given us this amazing outlet to get information, true, false, whatever, immediately, there are still plenty of pitfalls with this instant information that we get from social media. And I think we really got to at least understand that what we're seeing, especially during that period they call the fog of war, when these things first happen, it's not going to be accurate. It's guaranteed to not be accurate. It's not even like it might not be accurate. If you're reading something within the first few minutes of a story breaking, it is not going to be accurate. There may be some flecks of truth in there. When the first thing I read about Charlie Kirk was that he had been shot. Now, that's true. That was true. It's kind of a wide open, how did it happen, who shot him, this, that. So he had been shot, and the report was he has been shot. After that, I didn't see any truth for quite some time. It's just the nature of the beast. Everyone wants to be first to get the info out there, and everyone wants to be right, and we all want it to align with our political ideology or what we believe, whatever it is. We don't want it to go against our beliefs. So if you want this to be a right-wing Trump supporter that did this, you're going to post anything that leans that way, even if it's complete disinformation or misinformation. If you want it to be a left-wing radical, you're going to pick up on those and repost that and go, see, I told you. So being in your little bubble really doesn't do you any justice in these situations. It's, like I said, that fog of war settles in, and you're absolutely going to gravitate toward the news that best suits your belief system and your agenda, regardless of side. I've done it. I've done it before. Not that like I'm saying I'm the litmus test. I'm so perfect that even I have done it. I sounded a little pompous there for a second. But, we do it. I'll say it that way. We all do it. We want to be right. We want to have been right. If something verifies what we've believed for so long, we love the idea of posting it and going, yeah, see, I told you. It's human nature. It would be fantastic if every person was devoid of emotions that attach you to stories that are aligned with your belief system. It's just human nature. Let's all forgive ourselves for being humans. But that doesn't necessarily make it right. Every report I got after the initial he's been shot was some speculative nonsense, and it was pretty much a coin toss whether anything in these reports were going to be accurate or not. And a lot of it wasn't. My first impression was I thought it was going to be the usual kind of somebody walked up with a pistol, took a pot shot from the crowd, hopefully missed or just wounded him with something that could have been treated. No one really thought we would see what we ended up seeing. And that's a whole nother thing about the social media and the access to this instant information. Because it isn't only words and it isn't only pictures. It is HD video of stuff that, relatively speaking, a short time ago was just unavailable to people. You could go to certain websites back in the day, as I like to call it, and see horrific things. They were usually car wrecks. Gore.com, I think, was one, whatever it is. But now you couldn't avoid watching this graphic execution of a man. You just couldn't avoid it. You were scrolling and just, it was everywhere. And that's another thing, man, that I don't know how healthy this could be for society. And I'm on board with a few of the people that did say, no, we need to show this. This needs to be made available to show and to see and let it settle in that this is happening. And these people are doing these horrific things to people that are, just trying to exercise their First Amendment right, live their lives. They have their ideology. But, man, if you're someone that wants to avoid actually seeing graphic violence, I don't even know what you do. Go off the grid. Go down to Baja California like I do. Get off your cell phones and talk to the indigenous people of Baja California, Mexico. Well, thank you, Jesse, the Body Ventura. But some people can't go off the grid. I don't know whether we chose to or not. We are stuck in this digital world, and we are having things presented to us that aren't pleasant. And I think in the long run, our access to some of the stuff that is available to see, especially to more impressionable people and young impressionable people, will not bode well for society. Not like society is doing great as we speak, but man, oh man. All right. Oh, my goodness. Are we just getting started? Yes, we are. And plenty more. I see the phones alight with people that want to talk. We will give you your chance. 800-848-9222. And we continue with the Anthony Cumia Show after this. Plenty going on in the world these days. Not much good. I hate to be so pessimistic and black-pilled, but wow. When big chunks of history are made, it's usually not good. It's usually not good. And at the top of the hour, I was talking about, my love of the First Amendment and the Second. And freedom of speech, I am really a purist when it comes to the First Amendment. I don't believe that anybody's speech, regardless of their opinion, should be infringed upon. There are laws in place, and I don't think people really understand the difference between protected speech and not protected speech. A lot of people believe hate speech is illegal. There's no such thing as hate speech. No such thing. It's just somebody saying something that offends you profoundly. And you don't like it. You deem it hateful. But unless they're being slanderous or libelous or threatening somebody, there are, certain things. But there's a very strict criteria to your take on something, your opinion being deemed illegal. Thank God, because we see what's going on in the UK. Post a meme. How many times do we go on social media and post a funny meme, political, it slams another race, religion, sexuality, whatever? How many times? Go over to the UK and do that. You are arrested. Our system over here has its flaws, man. Oh, my God. And there are some grave injustices going on over here in America when the First Amendment is concerned, where the First Amendment is concerned. But nowhere near like what we're seeing in other supposedly democratic nations that crow about their people's freedoms. Oh, my God. But over here, I do believe in the absolute freedom of speech when it comes to opinions, ideology, expressing yourself. That's what Charlie Kirk was doing. That's what he was known for doing. He was known for going into places, these college campuses that were not welcoming to him at all. And what did he do? Did he lash out? Did he promote violence? He sat in a chair and gave a microphone, just like he had. He had a microphone. They had a microphone, and invited people up to speak freely. And he would converse with them, debate with them, sometimes agree, many times disagree, but the person was never insulted. They were never shut down and told to shut up. They got as much freedom of speech as Charlie Kirk got on those occasions. Amplified with a microphone at the same volume. And how was this met? How was this met? Well, we all know. He was murdered right there in front of a few thousand people and his family. Just terrible. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. And I saw someone get shot in real life. And this was worse. I got to be honest, watching the video of Charlie Kirk getting shot was worse than in real life seeing someone get shot. So, like I said, going back, I'm an absolutist as far as First Amendment rights go. So talking about doxing and what's been going on online with people on the left, I don't even know if I could just call them people on the left. I think everyone on the left is crazy, but there is a subsection of these leftists that are, and the word's been used a lot lately, evil, pure evil, demonic evil. Just cheering, smiling, laughing, dancing, making videos and putting them on various social media platforms to celebrate the death of a man they disagreed with. This guy was not telling people to be violent, to take up arms against people. He was a God-fearing man, very spiritual, very religious, married, beautiful family, young family, and people were gloating and celebrating his death, some calling for worse, involving his family. This is an unbelievable evil that we're seeing. So, you know, I had been on the other end of these doxings where I got doxed. I got fired for social media posts back in 2014. So I know the anger of trying to express yourself, trying to put your opinion out there, albeit controversial, political, racial, in my case, and getting fired for it. It's not fun. And I absolutely felt that I was being persecuted for my beliefs. Now, it's one of those tough things when it comes to a business, a commercial enterprise, Sirius XM satellite radio. Everyone's like, they're a private company. They could do what they want. And it's like, yeah, I get that whole thing. But you would think a broadcasting company, they know. I worked for them for 10 years. It was no secret what my ideology and political affiliations were and what my thoughts were about crime and who was perpetrating it. But, I get it. I get what they were saying. And now we're seeing this happening. And a lot of these people on the left that are gloating about the murder, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, are being doxxed and fired from their jobs. And I tell you, I couldn't be happier. Happier. I don't totally agree with it. There's still something in my mind that says this isn't what we should be doing. And if somebody, like I said, if somebody was saying something to the effect of, well, I didn't agree with him. He was assassinated. That's a terrible thing. I didn't agree with him. You can even say, I thought he was an ass. I thought what he had to say was stupid. That's commenting on his take on things. The celebrating his death, the threatening of his family, things like that. Yeah, dox him. That's how I feel about it. And still, there's something in me that goes, maybe that's not right. But again, we're all humans. We have to walk that tightrope of believing in a system like we have here, where we all do have a freedom of speech, even if it's horrific things to say. Horrific. And the other side being human beings with emotions, anger, and going, yeah, screw that guy. Get him fired. Good. So it's a difficult thing to try to navigate. And I've been giving it a lot of thought. I don't really have any final solutions on it. Some days I go one way, some days I go the other with this. But it's tricky. It's a tricky thing that you have to settle with yourself in your own mind and body. All right, I promise we are going to go to the phones next. Stick around. A lot more of the Anthony Cumia. We greatly appreciate your support. We've gotten so much support with this program. I don't know what to tell you. It's great, and I love it. I really appreciate everybody that tunes in, comments on the show, contacts me, Anthony Cumia on X, and it's just been great. I really like the direction things are going here with the radio show. Appreciate it, man. Let's go to Steve in Manhattan. Steve, what's up, man?
All right, and the more people we have in America, the more lunatics we're going to have running around.
It's just a numbers game, man. You're right. It's all about math.
Exactly. And this is what some people should always remember, too. Whenever dealing with criminal cycles, the murdering cycle always has the advantage because the psycho criminal will attack unprovoked. Mm-hmm. And I also like to add something to that. In my lifetime, I've heard a lot of people on TV, radio, or in life say, oh, don't worry about it. Well, I like to tell people the cemetery is full of people who said, don't worry about it, okay?
Yep.
If I've seen plenty of Charlie Kirk's videos through the years. I think he was phenomenal in getting people to register, especially the younger folks out there, and his way of dealing with also wanting people to be legit when they voted and not illegals and stuff like that.
Right.
People voting 20, 30 times. But his security, I always looked at that. I couldn't believe there was, I would say he had like bodyguards. There were guys like standing next to him. They might blend in with the white shirts.
Yep.
But there was no real security team there. These people, they're not always all students. Anybody could have walked into these events. And they're like 10, 15 feet from him. And there's a whole crowd of people. Anybody could pull out a gun. The rooftops are not secured. Rooftops are very easy to secure if you want to secure them.
Unbelievable. Steve, unbelievably easy to secure. The sniper apparently had the highest point on that campus. If you had someone up on that rooftop, they would have been able to see every other rooftop that anybody with ill intent could have been using at that time. Why in the hell? a figure as controversial, maybe not rightly so, but controversial as Charlie Kirk, not having a security detail put on top of those roofs to watch overhead and see if there's any snipers or anybody milling about on rooftops. It's you can't imagine that there could be a bigger security breach than that.
And there are security breaches every day. I've talked with people who are in security. I know Donald Trump's personal security team before he became president, and you guys are still around. Well, phenomenal, those guys. They came from all different law enforcement, most of them, not all.
Yeah.
And these guys are phenomenal. But I've talked to a lot of people who talk a big game, but there are security breaches every day. I mean, Thomas Crooks, he was known to be on the roof for an hour, and and nobody did anything.
We saw videos of him up on that rooftop. People were taking videos and going, who's that? There's someone up on the roof. And you hear Trump speaking in the background, so you know the time difference between when they saw him on the roof and when he took the shot. It makes no sense. These breaches are way too common.
And they happen every day. And also, that lunatic down in Florida, he's outside the golf course for 20 hours. Yeah. That's unacceptable. I mean, we all seen it a million times, Jack Ruby walking right up to Oswald. So a lot of these security people, not all of them, I don't want them to get mad. There's a lot of guys out there with top dudes out there, and they're really good. But if you have no security team in place, how do you have a security plan in place to do something about it? And I also would like to say something about the mayor's election in New York City. Now, this guy, moron, damn New York. And people should realize, do you realize, I know you know this, but a billionaire can run an independent advertisement against this guy, saying everything everywhere in social media, on TV, radio, that this moron wants to legalize heroin. He wants to legalize prostitution. He wants to get rid of the police force. And this is something that could be just saturated, and it's not done. Leading me to believe, are these people in on it, or are they just a bunch of useful idiots? I mean, we saw Musk do it during the presidential campaign, and Curtis Lee has got to do a better job. To me, it looks like he's auditioning to be Marlon Perkins from Wild Kingdom. You know, the guy, remember we were kids, the guy's like 80 years old, he's tackling lions and stuff. Come on. Curtis has got to do a better job out there, and he's got to go into the neighborhoods. He's got to go hunting where the votes are. There's certain neighborhoods will vote for him. You got to get people registered to vote too, or this moron's going to win.
I got you, Steve. All right. Hey, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. There goes Steve. I don't know. It seems like Curtis is out there, and he is going to these neighborhoods. He's the only one going around and really going to the dregs of society out there. The Marlon Perkins thing is kind of funny. I'm here in front of a homeless man sleeping on the street. I'll stay here behind the blind while Jim goes in and talks to him. I'll talk about the election a little later in the show. I have a few things, obviously, going on with Mamdani and Cuomo and Adams. Unbelievable. But what else what Steve was saying. These breaches in security and this feeling like no one is safe. And look, I've been what is considered a controversial media figure for a while now. And I've gotten my share of death threats and all the things that come with being controversial. And by controversial, it means you're just speaking your mind. I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not advocating for violence. But, you know, the left sees that as being controversial. They see it as being a danger to their very existence. You know, you cannot talk about transgenderism unless you're in their little circle without them saying that you are a threat, an existential threat to their lives. They are convinced that if you go on any media platform and dare say that children should not be mutilated or pumped up with drugs to change their sexuality. That right there, that, by the way, I truly believe that is a belief of the vast majority of Americans. That isn't some crazy right-wing extremist belief. And thank God it's the belief of the majority of Americans. You should not mutilate children or pump drugs into them for some sexual Frankenstein transfer of sexuality. But if you say that, they honestly believe that you are now a threat to their life. And people that feel their lives are being threatened think they are justified in self-defense. Now, while there are legitimate cases of self-defense, that ain't it. They just don't like what you're saying. They don't agree with it. So they twist it into this, you're threatening them. This is with everything. You know, we heard during the Biden administration an existential threat to democracy. That's what they said about Trump and MAGA supporters. They are an existential threat, a threat that could bring us to extinction, bring our democracy to extinction, existential. And they will react with extreme violence to that. And I think Charlie Kirk knew that. And maybe he believed he had enough security. Obviously, now we know different. But, yeah, where were the people on the roofs? How about, I got right back on my shelf back here for the people watching later on video. You will see a DJI drone. I was charging up the batteries on it. I like having my drone readily available. I have a lot of property, and sometimes I like flying it around. It's fun. But it's also a useful tool in protecting yourself, your family, your property, things like that. I have, thank God now, a lot of property. I got a river way down the wood line, and I have a drone. It wasn't crazy expensive. You could pick one up for a couple of $100. Why didn't Charlie Kirk's team have a few of these things? They put them in the air, and their job, 3 guys, and their job is, during these appearances, to put a couple of drones up and monitor the rooftops, the tree lines, everywhere that's out of reach for the physical bodyguards that are standing next to him. And they have communications that they could instantly let someone know if something doesn't look right, and they could get to it immediately. That guy never would have set foot on the rooftop, never mind set up a nest, take aim, and seemingly wait till appropriate words were spoken about transgenders and violence by Charlie Kirk to make the fatal shot. Why? Why wasn't a system like that in place? I don't know. And some conspiratorial-minded people might say because his security team was in on it, or this one was in on it, or that one. Damn, put something in place. That was a large venue. There were a lot of places where somebody could have gotten up, and they did get up somewhere to do damage. Why would you do that? This guy has met with the president. He was a huge voice in political forums that are despised by mentally ill extremists on the left. How the hell do you not get as much security and use the technology readily available to anyone to make sure that didn't happen? Someone screwed up, man. Someone dropped the ball there. And, I know Charlie was a nice guy, a very religious guy. Maybe he wanted to see the good in all people. But seeing the good in all people, irregardless, he still put on a bulletproof vest. So there was an inkling, and I bet you there was some chatter somewhere that they got that made him put that vest on that day. Hey, Charlie, we're hearing some things. I read some things in Reddit or wherever it was. And there's some chatter about this and that and the other thing. And you go, all right, I'll put a vest on. I'll put a vest on today. Because you didn't always wear a bulletproof vest. If you're getting that kind of chatter or any inkling that there might be an attempt on your life, where the hell is the digital security, the people? And you don't want a drone over the rooftops? Get a person on there. Binoculars, have them looking at other rooftops, whatever. And this isn't just the hindsight is 2020 thing I'm doing here. This should have been done. There had been enough threats to him, enough attempts on other people's lives that his team and him, I'm not criticizing, him. I'm not victim blaming here. But, man, you got to understand the world you live in and who your opponents are at this point. They are psychos that want you dead. And they did it. I don't walk around without a gun on my hip now. Not like I didn't anyway, but now it's all the time. As I sit here doing this show, I have a gun in my holster on my hip. I don't answer the door without it. Oh, it's UPS. I don't know that. Oh, Anthony, you're paranoid. Am I? Maybe paranoia would have suited Charlie Kirk a little better. Maybe a little paranoia, and he'd be at an appearance tomorrow doing what he did. There's a difference between paranoia and understanding the world you live in. Understanding that you are up against an opposition that is ready, willing, and able to kill you. And that really has to be understood by people. I have friends in this business that I fear for, and they fear for me. And I'm doing everything I can to take care of that. I make sure I have my head on a swivel constantly. And I've turned down certain things that I just didn't think were secure enough. And I have myself armed and ready constantly. Now, you can't do something about everything like that sniper. That's very difficult. That would have had to been dealt with beforehand, like we were just talking about. Preemptively securing the area. Same thing in Butler, Pennsylvania with Donald Trump when he was campaigning. How the hell was that guy allowed to get up on that rooftop? And I'm just talking, I'm not going into the conspiratorial things of it. It wasn't him. It was this. It was Mossad. It was the CIA. It was this. Whatever. I'm just going by the, if it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Occam's razor. And even with all that, how the hell did the number one contender for president at the time, before he was elected, Donald Trump, get up on a stage in front of a podium with a sniper on a rooftop well within range? How the hell did a sniper get up in front of Charlie Kirk and take him out, knowing Charlie is a controversial speaker? He's had thousands of death threats, had a security team, and no one thought, let's make sure those rooftops are secured? after the Trump thing, especially. You look at that and go, yeah, they were able to take a pot shot at the president and almost got him. Almost got him. Who are you? You're Charlie Kirk. You don't think some nut might take a pot shot at you from a rooftop? Someone dropped the ball there, whether purposely, accidental, incompetence. You feel good. You feel like no one wants to do this to you. Those days are over, people. They're crazy, and they want to kill you. Keep that in mind and act accordingly. Does it sound extreme? Yup. Because it's an extreme situation. That's why it sounds extreme. Because we are in an extreme situation. They react to offense. Verbal offense. You say something they don't agree with, they feel offended. They react with violence. It might just be clocking you in the head. Like I said before, it might just be flipping the bill of your hat off your head, calling you a nasty names. But they always react with violence. They're incapable of engaging in reasonable civil debate. So act accordingly. That's all I gotta say. If you're out there, if you're voicing your opinion, if you're on social media voicing your opinion, and don't think a fake name is going to save you. Because look what the liberals have been going through now that the right is doxing them like crazy. A lot of them are losing their jobs. Now, with the other way, they don't just try to get them canceled and lose their jobs. They look them up. They threaten them. They post pictures and addresses of their families. So don't think you're safe. Act accordingly. We will return your calls, 800-848-9222. And I guess I should do Clown of the Week. Oh, boy, next break. Stick around. Anthony Cumia Show continues. Yes, it is. And thank you for tuning in. So funny, I posted on X a picture right before the show saying that we're starting soon. And it's kind of a view from my spot here at my desk behind the microphone. And it's funny how everyone zooms in and tries to figure out what I'm writing down on the show prep and little things. And someone zoomed in and goes, what the hell is this? Apparently, I was eating an apple and I left a knife on my desk. And they're like, wow, you are crazy. No, I'm not prepared to get into a knife fight. I will not try to be like a Riff from West Side Story and defend myself or my loved ones with a knife. That's a much younger man's game. I recommend bringing a firearm to a knife fight. It increases your odds unbelievably. Yeah, Clown of the Week. Man, I got 3 clips for Clown of the Week this week. It wasn't very difficult. There are plenty of clowns this week. But
the Anthony Cumia Show presents the Clown of the Week.
One that we've had other times, Clown of the Week. A lot of recurring clowns in Clowns of the Week. Of course, our great Congresswoman from Texas, for the time being, Jasmine Crockett. She's our gal, Clown of the Week this week. And she, along with other Democrats, have this idea that whatever they say is not a call to violence. You know, because we were talking about the fact that the liberal Democrats, liberal Democrat is redundant. They've been saying things that are terrible and villainizing people on the right to the point where their mental patient constituents want to go out and be the hero, so they perpetrate violence against people on the right. But you talk to people like Jasmine Crockett, and they don't think anything they say conjures up this violence in their followers. So here's Jasmine, the first clip. She believes that calling someone Hitler isn't really an issue. Let's listen to this.
We've got to talk about like what it means when you're running for president or you're running for one of these higher offices and you go out there and you talk about beating people up. You go out there and you say things like, I could shoot somebody in the middle of the street in New York and I could still win. We got to talk about like that. That is next level. Mm-hmm. Me disagreeing with you, me calling you, I want to be Hitler. All those things are like not necessarily saying go out and hurt somebody. But when you're literally telling people at rallies, yeah, beat them up. And that kind of stuff, like you are promoting like a culture of violence. So we need to talk about like what it looks like when you don't promote a culture of violence.
She doesn't even understand. She doesn't even understand. When Trump said I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and they'd still vote for me, that was hyperbole. That was him saying, I'm so popular that you politicians in Washington, the swamp, you idiot, you're so hated that I could do something so repugnant like shooting someone on Fifth Avenue and I'd still get elected. They always want to take Trump verbatim and never look into the Trumpisms that is his lifetime history of making. God, do I even have enough time? Let's try. Shootings are white supremacy. That's the next clip. Let's listen to Jasmine.
So we're not going to talk about white supremacy? Like, we're not going to talk about the fact that the vast majority of these shootings, whether they are seen as political or not, if we look at the numbers, white supremacy ideology. But we don't want to do anything about that. There's no legislation that they want to bring. Every time you say white supremacy, they want to yell, oh, you're race baiting. No, I am going on facts. Like these crimes, when we look at these mass shootings, most of them are linked to neo-Nazism or, Proud Boys or whatever. It's always some white supremacy kind of thing that's going on. It's not black folk that are going out there. It's not immigrants that are going out there. But what cities are we going into? Black cities, because we are supposedly the ones that commit all the crime. Which people are we going after? Immigrants, because allegedly it's immigrants, but we don't want to have a talk about what the numbers say, what the facts say, which is that we have a white supremacy problem in this country. So until we decide to deal with the problem, we're going to continue to have a problem.
Can you even? I don't have enough time in this break to cover that, and we have one more. We have a Clown of the Week that's going to go 2 segments. First time in Anthony Cumia show history. That is preposterous, what she's saying. It is an outright lie. She says it's fact. This is insanity. This is lying at a galactic level. And we'll address it. More of your calls and more of the Anthony Cumia show. I'm disgusted. And before the break, we're talking about Jasmine Crockett. She is Clown of the Week. And her take on these, she says these shootings are vastly perpetrated by white supremacists. The crazy white supremacists out there that seem to be doing all the shootings. I guess when you look at Chicago every weekend and see 5, 6, 7 killed, 30-something shot, those evil white supremacists. Because that's MAGA country, I believe, is what Jussie Smollett said. MAGA country. The unbelievable amounts of shootings in most large Democrat cities are perpetrated by white supremacists. This, if you listen to Jasmine Crockett, this is what the facts are. She said these are facts. I guess statistics can prove this. And, Proud Boys, she brings up. Can you please find any instance of Proud Boys shooting something up because of white supremacy? But that's what she says. So who are we to doubt her? We'd be called racist if we doubt Jasmine Crockett. The last thing that put her in the seat this week for Clown of the Week is about policing in general. I didn't know this. I thought the police departments in the United States, the earliest days of these United States, were to enforce the laws that were legislated by politicians that were elected by these brandy new Americans. But I'm wrong. I am apparently wrong. But Jasmine Crockett will tell you how the police forces in our country got started. Jasmine, if you would.
But as somebody who understands history, when I see ICE, I see slave patrols. Now, I never lived through the slave patrol period, but if you know the history of policing in this country, then you understand that they were born out of slave patrols.
I remember watching that show back in the 60s. I was a little kid, 8 years old. Slave Patrol. It was amazing. Fun show. Vic Morrow was in it, I think. Are you out of your mind? Policing started. I guess everything was hunky-dory. America, this brand new colony of England, was so without crime that police weren't even needed. There were no police forces. Can you imagine that? Everyone just went to the general store. They bought stuff, gave their money, and walked out with the goods, and not a cop was needed when all these white Europeans were walking around. Is that what Jasmine Crockett's saying? That cops weren't needed until black people were brought over from Africa? I don't think she's doing her community any services by saying that police were invented for the sole purpose of rounding up black people. That before that, white colonies, the colonies here in America, didn't even need police. They were just so honest and lovely people. Is that what you're saying, Jasmine? I call her Slavey Crockett, like Davy Crockett, only different because all she talks about is slavery. Everything she talks about has to dredge up slavery as the reason for all of the black community's ills. So once again, there she is, our clown of the week. We should have a crown for clown of the week just fitted for Jasmine. Just permanently fitted for her dumb head because she's been clown of the week before, and I guarantee you she will be clown of the week in the future. But let's not let the runner-up off the hook so easily. I'm talking, of course, about Nancy Pelosi. There were a bunch of Democrats that came out this week and said that irregardless of the situation, regardless of what they said, Dems cannot possibly have any responsibility in violence perpetrated against people on the right for nothing more than voicing their opinion, no matter what they say. So you got half of them saying, more than half of them saying, well, we got to tone down the rhetoric. We got to make sure that we're not inciting violence and speaking hate. And then Pelosi says, well, that's nice. But even if we do say horrible things about the right, whatever happens ain't us. We didn't do it. We didn't do anything. So here's the great Nancy Pelosi saying that no responsibility taken. Let's listen.
People don't have any intention of saying something that's going to lead to something dangerous, but we cannot take responsibility for the minds that are out there and how they hear it.
Other Democrats are quickly calling for gun control before.
All right, we can. So yeah, they're not taking responsibility. And hey, We say things, but we can't possibly be responsible if some impressionable, indoctrinated mental patient goes off and does something. You're whispering in their ear. Kill them. Kill them. What was Jason? Kill them, mommy. Kill them, mommy. Remember that? You're whispering in their ear from every corner. Mainstream media, boom, Hollywood, Washington, Madison Avenue, the fake news, all of it is whispering in their ears, and you know they're lunatics. If you take weak-minded, impressionable people and just pile this garbage, these lies on them, that certain people are trying to do you harm, how do you think they're going to react? And the more of those you get, the more chance that they'll do the violence that you hope they do. This is a very tricky way to hire an assassin. You're not literally going out and finding any one person, MK Ultra style. You're just going out there and throwing the crap against the wall and seeing what sticks. You know that if you get enough of these weak-minded, impressionable dolts, these useful idiots that they call them, you get enough of them and you preach the same stuff to them, 99% of them won't do anything. They'll get mad. They'll show up at your dumb rallies and protests. They'll fly their flags and paint their signs. And when questioned, not even know what the hell they're there for. But they're just hoping for that one person that hears it, takes it to heart, takes it personally, and goes, yeah, they're asking me to do this. They're begging me to take up arms against this person that they don't agree with. They're saying that this person is so dangerous that our very lives depend on me taking that person out. So there's no real connection. There's no paper trail. There's plenty of plausible deniability there, but it is a legitimate tactic. And they've used it, and they've used it well. We've seen this happen over the past couple of years. They are getting people shot at, and in some cases, like Charlie Kirk, killed, using this very strategy. But I'm the nut. I'm the crazy guy, I guess. Let's see. All right. Dina or Deanna?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Brooklyn.
You are covering so much. It's great. But, listen to Jasmine Crockett. Everything is white supremacy, white supremacy. She's married to a white minister. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, we all know that.
That is so odd. She harps on that, but it's just a low-hanging fruit. And I think Charlie Kirk was trying to raise the bar to what academia is supposed to be about.
Supposed to be on these liberal campuses. This was supposed to be what they do. A reasonable, peaceful discourse. This speaking and debating each other. It's what colleges were known for.
Yes. And the more you debate, the more you fine-tune the thought. And it becomes very exciting when you debate and go on, and then they pose another angle. Because my family's all in academia, and it's all about debate. But I would like to also say that
that's my sister's name, academia. Academia, you get over here. Thank you, man. Just making a little joke. Go ahead, continue.
As as far as firing someone who's speaking in a slanderous manner, I mean, it's up to the employer. You realize, I believe you. I agree about hate speech, but it's permitted, and Charlie Kirk permitted it. But if you're hiring someone, it can taint the image of your company and bring the whole morale down. You know?
I get it. It's what we
That's
call
what
a
I'm
sticky.
talking about.
It's what we call a
agree with
sticky
you,
wicket,
however.
Deanna. I appreciate your call, dear, and we will take a quick break. We'll be back. More of your calls. We got stupid Governor Hochul with her nonsense. What else we got here? Oh, Mayor Brandon Johnson from Chicago and his ridiculous. Who thought we could get a worse mayor than Lori Lightfoot in Chicago? Well, you got him. You got him, Chicago. Mayor Brandon Johnson. And a lot more. And, of course, your calls, 800-848-9222. Back in moments with more of the Anthony Cumia Show.
Hey, what's up, Anthony? So
hanging out.
Piggyback off with hanging out. Hey, listen, brother, congratulations on your comeback, man. I'm so glad ABC picked you up, and
I am too.
Now you're exposed to this whole new market here, and a lot more folks can enjoy your talents like a lot of us have since back in the WoW days. So
appreciate hearing it, my friend. I really, really do. It's been a great ride here, and I'm hoping for a lot more. Thank you.
Absolutely, brother. More power to you, man. Maybe Reagan can make an appearance sometime, but anyway,
you never know, son. Yes.
So, to piggyback off what you said, someone dropped the ball here, whether it was purposely or not. It's not for me to say, but it somewhat comes across as a ploy to desensitize the public a little bit. Just to furthermore point a little bit. Back in the day, you used to go on these websites, and you can see stuff like this. Boys will be boys, and you'll see stuff that used to happen in Iraq and stuff like that. But now it's just making it to Susan and Sally's phone in the cul-de-sac who hasn't seen a lick of violence in her life,
Great
and
point.
So now it's just exposed mainstream, And
I
just think.
Yeah, go ahead.
brother.
No, you continue.
No, that was my point. Yep, that was it.
Yeah, it really is. This whole thing is very multifaceted. And I really think that this was what they wanted in Butler, Pennsylvania with Trump. I think they wanted us to see the exact thing we saw with Charlie Kirk happen to Donald Trump. Imagine, we were very, very close to seeing the exact same thing, only it being Donald Trump. And there is this, I think, this want and need of the opposition, whoever that might be, to desensitize this country to extreme violence and extreme visual violence where people look at it and go, it desensitizes you. It makes you sort of, well, who really cares? It dehumanizes people.
Yep, absolutely. I agree. And, just hearing folks call over and over a few of the shows on Lionel's and a couple other shows, I could just hear the sorrow in people's voice and brokenhearted. And, I just want to say to those folks out there calling in, I empathize. Maybe some of us out here have seen more than others, but, just remember the Lord is always near and dear to those who are brokenhearted and saves those crushed in spirit. So just hang in there. Everybody stick together. And we can make it through. We're American. We're strong.
Thank you,
we can make
Andre.
it.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. He goes, Andre. Yeah. A lot of people, they take to their religion or whatever traditions, whatever ideals, whatever makes them feel good, their families and friends during times like this. And that's a good thing. And then you have other people that take to, God knows what, Satan, evil, their enclave, their little coven of horrible people. We've seen it. I don't think. Let me rewind in my head a little bit before I say this, but I think I could safely say this. I don't think any situation has truly shown the difference between good and evil in this country than the reaction to Charlie Kirk's assassination. I think we have seen unbelievable good and spirit. And when you watch these people get together in these towns across the country, and they hold hands and gather in front of their churches, wherever their meeting place might be in these towns across the country, and hold hands and pray and sing candlelight vigils. How do you not look at that as opposed to people dancing and singing and cheering on the death of a beloved father and husband and just a decent man? How do you not look at those unbelievable extremes and you can't identify the good from the evil? This isn't just a difference of opinion. I understand differences of opinion. This transcends that. This is looking at two starkly different groups of people. One appreciates life, loves life, appreciates basic traditions like family and freedoms. And the other cheers on the murder of a good man. This isn't something that can be volleyed about and your opinion can change about it based on this or that. This is a stark red line between good and evil. And I'm not even as spiritual as most people, believe me. I could probably do with sitting my ass in a church pew a few more times than I do a year. But truth be told, and I think that even makes more of a point here, I don't think you have to be religious, practicing religious, or very spiritual to see the big difference here. You just have to be a damn human being. We have this built-in, innate knowledge or just our hard drive. I talked about our ROM and RAM of our human brains. The ROM is just the operating system. It's what is in our head from birth. It's just hardwired into what makes us humans. And then the RAM is what we put in there over the course of our life. And I think we are innately good. I think we know most people, unless they're damaged, most people know right from wrong without having to read the Bible or any religious material, without having to speak to somebody. When someone dies, we get a feeling, this pall over us where we know something bad has happened. It's hardwired into us. And that difference between good and evil are the people that just know what good is and what evil is. It's very complicated, but there is a simplicity to it. And it's a friggin', boy, I am so close to cursing, shame that we have to live with these people that don't appreciate the most basic things that we hold dear in life. Respecting a man that was just speaking his mind, a decent man with a family who loved him. And you got people that just literally dancing, celebrating, speaking out how great this was. That's evil. And look, I'm a guy, I'm not a religious guy that talks about good and evil like this. All right. More calls, more me.
Hey, Anthony.
Hey, man.
Hey, I never caught. I really enjoy your show. I'll start there. I never caught a single episode of O&A, and probably best I did.
Wow.
I bailed on Shock Jocks, Election Day 1992. When your man there, whose name rhymes with Coward Byrne,
that's right, Rob.
He single-handedly helped elect Bill and Hill, and that was the beginning of the downfall of where we are today. But that's not the purpose of my call. Forget him; he's irrelevant. As you know now.
He is.
I'm listening the last 4 days to, just in the conservative media, I hear thoughts and prayers. I listen to tears. We need to tamp things down. But what I'm not hearing enough of in the conservative media is outrage and a call to arms. And let me be clear: I don't think we need civil war in the streets. I don't think we're there yet. But if we don't handle this right and realize what we're up against, that's where we're headed now. So let me give you an example, all right? This guy, how we begin to push back. This guy faces possibly the death penalty in Utah, and if he gets federal charges, the same thing. He should get a speedy trial, and if he's found guilty, all right, he should be given the death penalty in a public execution. Nobody has to watch, but that sends a powerful message. Step one. Step two, go to all these left-wing rioters, all right, that are rioting against Jews and Christians, all right, and then arrest some of them and threaten them with long-term jail sentences if they don't give up the goods using the RICO statute now. All right, are you familiar with that? That's how they went after them. All right, and you start at the bottom and you work your way up, and hopefully that leads to the Soros types that I believe are funding this. What is this that I'm referring to? It's the American Communist Party. Look online. The media would have you believe they've sort of gotten away. They haven't. They took over the Democratic Party. Let me be clear. Not every Democrat is a communist. Let me be clear.
But every communist is a Democrat.
There you go, man. There you go. There you go. And if we don't get this right, then we are headed for civil war and shooting in the streets. But we've got to send them a message, just like I just said. And all the tears, again, it has its place. Thoughts and prayers, tears. But if you're not, if to seriously get our people have to man up here. Let's be clear on that, all right? And let these people know we're ready to take them on. And I don't mind telling you, I have some doubts about it. A lot of these investigations, too, have to come not out of Congress. You notice these investigations that start in Congress go nowhere?
Yep,
right?
Always.
They have to – the Justice Department working with the FBI is where a lot of this has to be going on. And that's why I'm starting to have doubts, about whether Bondi, Patel, all right, and Bongino are up to it. The one thing about Matt Gaetz, and I realize he made a huge boneheaded move, taking out Kevin, but he was ready to go, buddy, balls to the wall. He was ready to go after all this, all right? We need a strong attorney general and people heading the FBI that are willing to go after this. It isn't going to be easy to unravel all this, but it's there. Mm-hmm. It's there if the investigatory bodies of the U.S. government do it. What do you think? Go ahead. I'll stop. I'll listen.
I'll hang up and listen online. No, I like that, Steve. Thank you, man. Yeah, we all have anger. We're all really pissed off. And as we go through the grieving process, what happens after? Do we just settle back down and do what we've done time and time again? Or are we more proactive and try to really make changes? I think, especially to what Steve was saying about the Justice Department and the FBI and people really doing something about rampant communists trying to overthrow our government and our country. Something's got to be done about that. And the people in charge and the people that would have to spearhead this can't be afraid. They need to go after it. And who cares about the criticism, the name calling, what'll they be called, xenophobic, racist, whatever it is. This needs to be done. I don't know how many of you have seen, there are plenty of clips of people that literally worked for the KGB during the Soviet Union, during some of the most tumultuous times of the Cold War. And they spell out what it would take for communist infiltration to take down the United States of America. And it was not something that was done overnight. This was generational. This took years. But he's talking about this in the 60s. And I've seen a few videos like this. And man, it is a picture-perfect version of what has happened in this country over the course of decades. They spell out every step of the way. Now, they'd either have to be time travelers, fortune tellers, or something. This was being said decades ago. And it's every step of the way exactly what is being done to this country for communist infiltration to destroy what America is. Everything we hold dear, every institution, everything that makes us Americans, everything we respected, the flag, family, education, hard work, all of it destroyed. And these guys, I mean, the videos are readily available online. Black and white, grainy. They're all smoking butts in the studio. It's amazing. But it's exactly what is happening and has happened over the course of decades. This is a plan that has been in place for quite some time. I think once the Soviet Union especially, but even the powers that be in the Soviet Union, once they understood there was no way that they were going to get some kind of a military victory over us or get a leverage or an advantage of all these communist freedom, democracy, communist proxy wars that were going on all over the globe. And they're just looking, going, this ain't going to do it. We need to get them. We need to get inside. We need to get into their schools. That will take very, very long, comrade. What do we do in the meantime? We sit. We do nothing. We sit and wait for them to rot from the inside. And that's exactly what's happening right now. And assassinations, like we saw with Charlie Kirk, are part of it. They're part of it. So, you know, take it for what it's worth, but I don't believe they were fortune tellers. I don't believe they were time travelers. I believe they were communists that worked in the KGB during the days of the Cold War, Soviet Union, and they knew damn well that plan that was in effect, it would take generations, but man, is it paying off right now. Deny that. Try to deny that. Let's go to Scott from the great state of Virginia. What's up, Scott?
Hey, Ant, banger of a show tonight, man.
Thank you. I'm full of piss and vinegar, I think they call it. What's up?
So, as I'm a veteran. I took very personally that.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service, sir. I was a Navy SEAL, a frogman in Vietnam. Now I go to Baja, California to get off the grid.
Anyway, thanks, Scott.
Jesse.
So,
right on. No, I take it personally, and as a free speech absolutist, I felt that we had a pretty well-written, except the left has a reading problem, a pretty well-written guideline to free speech. Yeah. And I think right now they need to be squeezed, and they need to feel, because as you yourself was a very, very much on the point end of the spear of cancel culture, they wielded that like a, orangutan with a camshaft on a stick. They just wielded it with extreme violence. Now, the only way that they're going to understand this, if they cannot be made to think, they should be made to feel. So they have to take their lumps until they they capitulate and cry for a law that says, well, somewhat verifying our First Amendment, that you cannot be fired, dismissed whatsoever for personally held political beliefs, period. Anybody, no matter which way they lean, left or right, i.e. returning to the prior social contract in which we had, where they can be leftists, we can be rightists, kind of like we grew up in the age of reason in the 70s and 80s. You know, it was a wonderful time period.
Well, I think, Scott, I do believe that the businesses and the owners of these businesses, it seems pretty cyclical, because now it seems the business owners doing the firings are on the right. They support free speech. They supported people going out like Charlie Kirk and just talking. And they're the ones firing these disgusting leftist mental patients that aren't just voicing an opinion. Now, like I said earlier, does it merit them being fired? Something that affects your real life? I don't know, but they're on the other side of it right now. Regardless if it's right or wrong, or if it's truly an infringement on their free speech or not, they're feeling it. They are seeing what it's like to be on the other side of cancel culture. And as a person, I enjoy seeing it. But as a free speech absolutist, I'm still a little on the fence, wondering if this is a good thing or not, because it'll come back eventually, and we'll get bitten in the ass for it. So I don't know, Scott.
I say let's mutually agree to wrap this up and, re-enshrine that First Amendment, and you cannot be fired from your workplace for expressing an opinion of any political stripe. And we'll just go back to that's the way it is.
We
or
used
we can
to
just keep having this nasty fight.
We used to just agree on that and think, like, without any law having to be put in place, we used to just agree on the fact that we're going to have different opinions, and let's not massacre each other because we have different opinions. Now, we would need to put some type of legislation in place that says a company can't fire you because of your ideology. I don't like the idea that we would have to do that. I would like to be in a place where we understand. I know. I'm living in a fantasy world here, Scott. All right, my friend. Thank you for the call. I do appreciate it. We'll move on. Try to get to some other stuff here tonight. Let me take a look. Oh, fake news. Let's do a little fake news. Where's this?
Now.
Fake news, folks. Fake news.
It's the fake news.
Fake stories.
News moment.
I just love the way Trump says fake news and he goes fake stories. This fake news segment is J.B. Pritzker. This is your governor, your rotund governor of Illinois. Illinois is pretty much all we really hear from Illinois is Chicago. It's like New York. New York is a pretty red state, but we only hear about New York City and Hochul and Adams. But Illinois is another one of these states that a lot of people in Illinois don't like Pritzker and their dumb Mayor Brandon Johnson in Chicago. But that doesn't stop them. Here's J.B. Pritzker. This is fake news. He's on a podcast or a news show, and he's another one of these guys that insists. Now, we all know what the truth is. He insists that Donald J. Trump is the one that is defunding the police department. Now, we have been through years of watching liberal Democrats crying to defund the police after the George Floyd debacle and even the Mike Brown nonsense and all this crap. All we heard from the Democrats was, oh, we need to defund the police. They all said it. They all joined the protesters and said it. And now that defund the police is out of fashion because the Democrats, their take now is to fake that they're about stopping crime. They're all about making the city safer. Because under their defund the police and getting rid of bail and all that Democrat nonsense, the cities have become war zones. Murder, rape, robbery, assaults. It is a terror to go into a major city in this country. So now they don't want to sound like they wanted to defund the police. That means unsafe cities. And they won't take responsibility for that, even though they're 100% responsible for the carnage going on in our major cities. So here's J.B. Pritzker, big fat J.B. Pritzker, talking about defunding the police and saying that Donald Trump is all about defunding police. Listen to this garbage.
Well, let's debunk the myth that that we have somehow defunded police. It's Donald Trump that's defunded police. I've hired more police in Illinois. Donald Trump has taken all this money away, and not just from police, and including, by the way, programs for local law enforcement, but as you said, ATF, FBI, et cetera.
Grants that were already appropriated, by the way.
Exactly. It's illegal what he's done, but he doesn't care, and he wants to create a problem. Remember, this is all about fomenting a problem so that he can bring militarization to our cities.
Can you, like, any idiot can figure out what he's really saying here. Donald Trump defunded. And then he talks about his police and law enforcement budgets and the fact that programs are cut and money comes out of the police department. Look at what was cut. These are the ridiculous liberal programs that do nothing to cut crime. Nothing. These are the let's send social workers to violent domestic disputes instead of police officers. And here's X amount of money for that. And Doge and Trump looked at it, and Republicans in Illinois looked at it and just said, no, this is useless. This is a waste of money. And they cut it and then hopefully put it back in place as money to programs that really cut crime. Not these garbage, Democrat, feel-good, nonsensical, do-nothing programs. And he says that's what Donald Trump has done. Defund police. No, defunding the wasted money, the waste that goes into these programs that do nothing to fight crime. They actually let criminals off the hook. It's like the Border Patrol thing. Remember Biden was always talking about, we have a bipartisan bill. They didn't want to sign it. Trump said, no, don't sign it, so he could look good at the bipartisan bill on border. They don't want. That was all about a huge amount of money going to judges and lawyers and what have you, and even Border Patrol agents, but not to arrest and deport them, but to bring them in and fill out the paperwork so they could be deposited in Springfield, Ohio, and all the other little cities around the United States. It had nothing to do with stopping the invasion of illegals coming into this country. And they said, well, Trump stopped the great bipartisan bill. This is the same thing. Oh, he defunded the police in Illinois. Yeah, defunded the ridiculous programs that would have done nothing to quell crime in the unbelievably dangerous city of Chicago right now. And we'll get to that and the mayor, Brandon Johnson, and his nonsense. I keep using nonsense tonight. It's just so fitting. When we return in moments with more of the Anthony Cumia Show. And just scrolling through X during the break. Black Lives Matter activist Monica Cannon Grant has pleaded guilty to 27 counts of fraud. If people don't see what a criminal enterprise, what a grift Black Lives Matter was over the course of the years. I mean, obviously they were born out of Mike Brown, the hands up, don't shoot lie, the George Floyd drug-addled violent criminal that unfortunately perished from a drug overdose while in custody of a police officer, and that officer is now paying with his life in prison. And we see now that the whole thing, all of the leadership of Black Lives Matter was on the take. They couldn't not steal. They saw all this money pouring in from Nike and the NFL and all these huge corporations, Coca-Cola, you name it. Millions of dollars poured in to Black Lives Matter. And when they were asked to do to take a look at their books, when they people said, "Hey, can we see where this money is going?" They screamed racism. Racism. And they were buying houses, mansions, cars, taking vacations. And any time someone wanted to assess their money and see where everything was going, what? Racism. And give it a little time, it all sorts itself out. And what do we see? Monica Cannon Grant, guilty of 27 counts of fraud. All you dummies, all you idiots that sent money to Black Lives Matter, I hope you're happy. And we called it years ago. We knew this was a grift years ago. And you dummies and the corporations virtue signaling. Look at this. I'm going to take a knee. Frito-Lay is taking a knee for Black Lives Matter. Are ya? DuPont wants you to know we believe in Black Lives Matter. Yeah? How's that working out for you? 27 counts of fraud. Hi. Joaquin in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. A lot of people say state. What's up, man?
Yes, good evening, Anthony. You know something that's really funny because though we have a Democrat government, I mean, we have fantastic gun laws here. I mean, you can open carry.
I know.
And it's easy to get it concealed, so, I mean, I'm well armed, And you getting a dog is probably the best security measure that you could have.
Unless he hears something while I'm doing my show and starts yapping, but I get it. No, he's awesome.
Anyway, I think that people really have to wake up and realize that, what we have right now, this is an actual communist Islamic revolution that's brewing. And believe me, the coffee pot, I think, is done because there was a small army. Well, actually, rather
you got about a minute, Joaquin, so keep it going.
Oh, okay. It's a large army. The colleges and universities, they're the military recruiting center for the left. And this kid who shot Charlie Kirk, he's just an example of that,
Mm-hmm.
And they have basically, they've recruited through the college system. I don't know how many of these people, and they're patriotic to their cause. And if we also don't wake up and get people to stand up and vote, in the coming midterms, we are going to be done. Because
I know.
Once the left regains power, they're going to come after us, like they went after Trump, like they went after, the January 6ers,
I agree. I agree. I got to take off, Joaquin. Thank you for the call, though, and we will return with your calls, 800-848-9222, and a lot more. What do I got? Joy Behar and the Girls of the View. Ooh, don't tune out, please, even though I just said that. Back in a flash. Change gears a little bit here. Not too much, though. It's like going from second to third. Second gear to third gear. Not a big change. Mayor Brandon Johnson, your mayor in Chicago, Illinois. He put the ill in Illinois, yo, because I don't know what this guy's thinking, if anything, if he's thinking anything. Lori Lightfoot was going to go down as the worst mayor in Chicago history. And then Brandon Johnson pops in there and trumps her. No pun intended. But this guy, he's on the wrong side of everything. The wrong side of everything. Crime, he loves it. This guy loves crime. He has to. He doesn't want to do anything about it. He's the guy that got rid of the shot spotters, these little electronic devices. They put them up on light poles in Chicago, and when there's a gunshot, the police are notified to a pinpoint location where that gunshot happened. Some amazing electronic acoustic triangulation. So there's a gunshot, and ShotSpotter would let the police know exactly where the shot came from. And they could respond exactly where it came from and, do their jobs. Well, Mayor Brandon Johnson got rid of that. His reason? It was racist. See, it seems whenever the cops showed up to the location, why, there was a black person there firing a gun. So ShotSpotter must have been racist to only point out where shooters were if they were African Americans. So he got rid of that. He loves crime. Something recently happened in the Franklin Park area of Chicago. ICE was doing one of its wonderful jobs, getting rid of illegal aliens. And I've said this before, if you're mad, if you're angry about what the Trump administration is doing, getting rid of these illegals, you should be mad at Joe Biden. He made the mess. Trump is cleaning up the mess that Joe Biden's administration, whoever that is, made. Flinging the border doors open, letting anyone and everyone in. And then Trump gets in and goes, what a mess. And he's trying to clean it up. And people go, oh, my God, look at this guy. He's terrible. For cleaning up the mess that the Biden administration made. So Mayor Brandon Johnson, ICE was doing a sweep. And they got this guy, Silverio Villegas Gonzalez. Yeah. And he was being arrested by ICE. He is an illegal alien in this country. And under the Trump administration, you gotta go. Get out. And while they were trying to make the arrest, he decided he was going to take off in his car. They were trying to get him during a traffic stop. And he took off in his car with a police officer on the vehicle. The cop fell off. Serious injuries. This wasn't just, I hurt my knee. Or this was serious injuries. The cop ended up in the hospital in serious condition. The other officers on scene thought it was appropriate to dispatch Mr. Gonzalez and allow him to do the room temperature challenge, which Mr. Gonzalez won. And Mayor Brandon Johnson, being briefed on this, decided to put out this statement. Get a load of this. The chaos that unfolded yesterday in Franklin Park was an unavoidable tragedy. Our prayers are with the family and friends of Silverio Villegas Gonzalez as we grieve this loss. Yeah, the bad guy. We've said from the beginning that the presence of federal immigration agents on city streets will make life more dangerous for our neighbors and for all. The seemingly unconstitutional actions yesterday incited dangerous conditions that put our communities at risk and ended in the loss of life. This guy tried to kill a cop with his car. And this is the take that your mayor, Brandon Johnson, Chicago, is taking. This is his assessment of the events. No person should live in fear of unlawful arrest, detention, harassment, or violence. He didn't. There wasn't unlawful arrest or detention or harassment or violence, unless you consider the violence on his part, trying to kill a cop with his car. We will continue to do everything in our power to protect the people of Chicago from federal overreach and unconstitutional actions. This guy adores crime. We stand in solidarity with our immigrant community. Illegal immigrant? Because that's what this guy was. He wasn't an immigrant. He was an illegal immigrant, a criminal. And especially our Mexican community in Chicago. By the way, the Mexican community in Chicago is the illegal community in Chicago. I can't imagine that Mexicans came across the border legally and settled in Chicago. Does that sound racist? Sorry. I just don't see it. Let's see. Especially our Mexican community in Chicago, in calling for a full account and a transparent investigation into what led to the death of Silverio Villegas Gonzalez. Oh, so he took the side of the criminal, the criminal that was dispatched as he tried to murder a police officer. And this is your mayor, Chicago. I have as much faith in Chicago to elect competent leadership as I do New York. I know New York is going to elect Mamdani. I just know it. I hate the thought of it. Curtis would make a great mayor. But New Yorkers are way, way too stupid to actually vote for him. And Republicans, I guess, are too lazy. Election day, they're going to be sitting on their fat asses in one of the 5 boroughs. And they'll go, what good will it do to go out and vote for Curtis? He can't win. You know why he can't win? Because you're too lazy to get up, go to the booth, and vote for him. So you'll have Mamdani. Enjoy. I'll be watching from wonderful South Carolina. From wonderful Greenville, South Carolina. I'll be watching the demise, the further spiral down the turlet of New York City under a Mamdani mayorship. But Chicago, that's your guy. That's your Brandon Johnson. By the way, Brandon seems to think that he's doing a great job curtailing violent crime in Chicago. Oh, the murders the bodies stack up. They stack up. And oddly enough, they are minority African-American bodies. You'd think they would do something about that since they're very racially inclined and would think they would want to save the lives of fellow African Americans. But they don't seem to care how many bodies pile up. Here's their idea. Trump's idea, which they put a stop to. I guess Trump wanted to do what he did in D.C. National Guard comes in. The police are under some type of federal leadership, and they really stomp down on crime. People get arrested, and they get put in jail, and they don't want to go out on the streets because they lose their guns. They get put in jail. It's not a good thing. And Chicago, a lot of the lib Democrat politicians, including Mayor Johnson, they have an idea. They have something called violence interrupters. Oh, yeah, this is a thing. In Chicago, violence interrupters are trained individuals, often with credibility from their own past experiences with violence. Street cred. These are gang members. And they hire them. They pay them money to be violence interrupters or peacekeepers, as they call them. I am going to get so in depth into this in the next segment. Wait to hear how much money went to this. What these violence interrupters in Chicago are doing. They get paid money and then they're criminals. This is unbelievable, but completely believable. Back in moments with more of the Anthony Cumia Show. Don't go anywhere. He feels he's had a victory. Trump, at least for the time being, will not be going into Chicago with the National Guard, will not be taking control of Chicago PD, and the bodies will continue to stack up. We saw what happened in D.C. when Trump decided to get his hands in there, and crime dropped dramatically. Murders pretty much went away. People were cheering that they were able to actually go out at night and walk around. Imagine that that's a thing that people cheer about and feel compelled to comment about, like it's a great, miraculous thing. I can walk around. That's how bad things have gotten. And Chicago, Mayor Brandon Johnson, and many of these other cities, of course, L.A., they want no part of a program that really cracks down on crime and allows the citizens to live their lives in peace. They love crime. So I'm talking about one of his programs that he thinks is so much better than stupid Trump's program of actually cracking down on crime, arresting people, taking guns out of the hands of convicted felons, criminals, their stolen guns. The Dems would rather just take everyone's guns away. So we have no protection for ourselves. We know. So this violence interrupters, these are former gang members and violent criminals in Chicago that they have put on the payroll to, what do they say they do? Build community trust and connecting high-risk individuals to social services. They're a key component of community violence intervention programs like the Cure Violence Model, formerly Chicago Ceasefire. What happened to Chicago Ceasefire? Why'd you have to change it into Cure Violence? I bet Chicago Ceasefire didn't work. I bet it didn't do anything. People were still firing. They weren't cease-firing. Operating similarly to a public health approach to disease by identifying and interrupting violent situations before they escalate. Conflict mediation. They intervene on ongoing disputes, de-escalate tense situations. Because that's what I've seen with gang members in Chicago. They love de-escalating tense situations and help individuals find peaceful ways to resolve conflicts. The only peaceful way is they have a piece in their hand and they fire indiscriminately into crowds. That's the only peace they know. Relationship building. They build trust within communities, especially with individuals at high risk of involvement in violence, through consistent presence and engagement. So you got a former gang member that's now or if he's former, that's now getting money. And he's working with gang members. And there's still an insane amount of gang violence going on. All right. That sounds effective. Does it? No, it doesn't. Tracking, they monitor youth and gang activity, respond to violent incidents, and are often present at the scenes of shootings. Probably looking at guys winking, throwing up gang signs. This is who the mayor of Chicago thinks, instead of cops, instead of arresting these people for these violent crimes, let gang members go in there and chit-chat with murderers. How's it working? Let's see. In the last day alone, this is a post from yesterday, I guess, or the day before. In the last day alone, we've had 2 separate stories of Brandon Johnson anti-violence workers being arrested or sentenced for serious crimes. Who would have thought hiring ex-cons to keep peace with their fellow criminals wouldn't pan out? The entire concept is a complex hoax and an obscene waste of taxpayer money. 7 men charged with murder after a crash and grab at the Louis Vuitton store left a driver dead on the Magnificent Mile in Chicago. Among the accused, a peacekeeper. One of these violence interrupters with 4 active warrants, a felon on patrol, a man who's been AWOL from another burglary case for a year. And Chicago was paying him money as a peacekeeper. And he murdered somebody, ran them over during a felony crash, a smash and grab out of a store, a Louis Vuitton store. Let's see this one. Here's a different one. This is different. An anti-violence worker has been given 22 years federal sentence for shooting a man during a carjacking spree. He was also part of a group that helped young people manage anger. Can I do that again? He was also part of a group that helped young people manage anger. Yeah, this is what they're doing. This is why they said, no, Donald Trump, we do not want you to do what you did in D.C. and actually stop these crimes from happening. We want the bodies to pile up. We're paying criminals, current criminals with warrants. Those are the guys. We don't want the cops who will put these people where they belong, in prison. Can you even believe this is a thing? I'm stunned. I'm stunned. Well, at least it's not costing a lot. At least it's not costing Chicago a lot of money. $667 million over the past 5 years. Over $500 million of taxpayer money has been spent on community violence interrupters in the past 5 years by the state of Illinois, Cook County, and city of Chicago. The money is paid to nonprofits who then spend it all on staff, ex-cons, and overhead. It's nothing but a way for Democrats to buy votes and give away taxpayer money to favored groups and connected cronies. $667 million to give to criminals, violent criminals, to engage in criminal enterprises. But please, please, Trump, stay out of our city. We don't need the military on the streets. We have gang members we're paying. I'm flabbergasted. When I first read this story, I had to read it again. Even though it was this Mayor Johnson, Chicago, we're used to hearing the most inane, incompetent crap coming out of that city. And they cheer him as having fought off the evil Donald Trump as the bodies pile up. They love it. They love us them some crime. They love them some good old-fashioned crime. There you go. There's that's Chicago. And this guy won't stop. He will not stop, will not allow the police to do their job. You heard what I said at the top of this story. He sided with an illegal alien. Sided with an illegal alien who tried to kill a law enforcement officer, was thankfully summarily dispatched by other officers before he could do even more harm. And there's Brandon Johnson. We are so sorry for Mr. Gonzalez. That's your mayor. Don't laugh, Chicago or New York. Don't you laugh. Back in a second. You know, we just talked about the great mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, and his just commitment to the safety of the people of Chicago. And I'm sure every other city is looking and going, oh, my goodness, I wish I could care as much about the people in my city as mayor, as much as Mayor Johnson cares about the safety of his people. Well, New York, you are ready and raring to go. You have Mayor Mamdani right there, a hair. I describe the hair in a fashion I usually do. It's part of a body that denotes a very thin, fine hair. But you're that hair away from having just as caring a mayor about your safety in a Mayor Mamdani. Because, again, I completely believe you will elect this guy. And he gave a couple of speeches. He was on a couple of talk shows. And to make you safer, one of his the things he wants to do is eliminate the NYPD gang database. This is NYPD has been putting this together for decades. They arrest people. They do investigations. They have a gang unit over the course of the years. I think the gang unit's gone. But over the course of the years, they have taken all this information and kept it together in this gang database. So when they arrest a gang member or they find a body or something happens, they have more resources to go to figure out what happened, who was responsible for this. Someone identifies a tattoo. They have a book of gang tattoos from people that they've arrested. That's part of the database. Well, Mamdani wants to get rid of that, to keep you safer. Let's listen to his insane logic in why this is a good thing. Mayor Mamdani?
If city council legislation to abolish the NYPD gang database were to pass, would you support and sign that?
I have supported that proposal. It's one I've supported because of the vast dragnet has meant the inclusion of New Yorkers on the basis of whether they go out late, photos they put on social media, so much of the facts of life of being a young New Yorker. And yet it then becomes a mark of suspicion. And it is a concern of mine that we do not live up to, of all people, Eric Adams's words in 2021, who said that New Yorkers need not choose between safety and justice.
Mm-hmm.
There's no question that we have to take gangs extremely seriously. And yet I find that a database that includes New Yorkers on such bases is one that doesn't actually do exactly that.
Okay.
Oh, there he is. There's your mayor, New York City. There he is. Round of applause for your mayor. Oh, boy, he knows how important it is to go after gang violence. Can I ask a question here, please? Is anyone in the gang database because they went out late and posted on social media? See, Mayor Mamdani, and I'm calling him that now because he's going to be your mayor because you're all morons. Mayor Mamdani seems to think we got to get rid of the gang database because it throws such a wide net over who's in it. The criteria to get into the gang database is so vague that if you go out, you're in your apartment, it's 12:30 a.m., you're going to the deli across the street to get a iced tea or something, and I don't know, someone sees you, a cop sees you, you're on the gang database. You're a gang member. You're a Blood or a Crip or a Latin King or something, MS-13, because you went out late. Oh, my God, what did you do on Instagram? Your cat? Oh, you posted a picture of You're in the gang database. Does anyone believe that simply going out late at night puts you in the gang database? Does anyone believe that lying sack saying that's actually what happens? Ugh. Well, that isn't all. That isn't all, kids. Here is Mayor Mamdani and the great, iconic Reverend Al Sharpton on a little network called MSNBC. No one is watching it, but I watch it so you don't have to. And they're talking about the wealthy people in New York City. Obviously, Mayor Mamdani putting these programs in place really disenfranchises the wealthy people who he says he's just going to tax the living crap out of. He's going to tax them to pay for his socialist communist programs. And Reverend Al, in a last gasp of reason, asks him, hey, won't they just leave? What would keep wealthy New Yorkers in New York City if you're just going to tax them to poverty? And the programs you're instating are programs they want no part of. So why wouldn't they just leave? I know. I was amazed Reverend Al brought this up myself. But, boy, Mamdani has a great answer. What a sly, cunning politician he is with this answer. Listen to this.
Now, you've been running on the platform of affordability fixes for New York.
Affordability.
Like a rent freeze you mentioned, free buses, city-owned groceries that made you popular with some working New Yorkers, but not so popular with real estate developers and the financial class. You were the only mayoral candidate to march alongside Martin Luther King III and I on our march on Wall Street about DEI on last week as we call for economic justice for all New Yorkers and all Americans. But right now, the top 1% earners in the city pay 40% of the city's income taxes, according to the Empire Center for Public
41%.
Policy. How do you bring these wealthy residents to the table as mayor? Stop them from saying they're leaving, going to Florida, because we need that tax revenue to pay for some of the things you're talking about. How do you pay for it if they're gone?
Well, the first thing I have to say is I was proud to be the only candidate for mayor at that march. And I was proud because some of the chants at that march, they were asking, is the dream alive?
Right.
Is Dr. King's dream still alive? And he asked the question decades ago, what good is having the right to sit at a lunch counter if you can't afford to buy a hamburger?
Right.
That's a question that New Yorkers are still wrestling with today in 2025. And so what I have put forward is a vision to make the most expensive city in the United States of America affordable. At a time when we have the wealthiest city, it is also one where 1 in 4 are living in poverty. And to your point, we have a number of New Yorkers who are doing quite well. The top 1% of New York City earns $1 million or more a year. And my vision is not one where they leave, it is one where they stay.
How do you get them to stay?
How?
In part by showing them that asking them to pay more in taxes would increase even their quality of life. Because when you ask New Yorkers, what is it that is making them feel uneasy in this city? You often hear from them about the cleanliness of our city, the safety of our city, the affordability of our city. We are not asking to raise these taxes for the sake of it. We're asking so that we can actually make the slowest buses in the country fast and free, so that we can actually create a Department of Community Safety that would deploy dedicated teams of mental health outreach workers to the top 100 stations of the highest levels of mental health crises and homelessness. That relationship proving that tax dollar leads to that investment, because we know that it's not just a fiscal policy that takes somebody from New York City to somewhere else. Because a lot of New Yorkers, if they leave, they go to California, another high tax state. They go to New Jersey, another high tax state. Many people say they might go to Florida, but I have seen and heard from many New Yorkers concern about this new elimination of vaccine mandates in Florida that makes them question whether they would ever want to live there.
Sure. There was so much going on there. But what I want you to take away from that is Reverend Al asks Mayor Mamdani, what are you going to do to keep the wealthiest of New Yorkers, the ones that pay 41% of the taxes to New York City? What will you do to keep them, to bring them to the table? You're going out there and you're campaigning to low-income people and people that need government assistance. But what about the people that pay the bills? How are you going to keep them? His answer was, tax them more. They will love it if I tax them more. He just said that. They want to be taxed more to make the city better. Instead of using their already unbelievably high taxes to somehow get New York City in some semblance of organization and not spending more than you're taking in. And he just says, I'm going to tax them more, Reverend Al. And that, my friend, is my cunning way to bring the wealthy to the table and keep them in New York City, to take away more of their wealth and give it to freeloaders, bums, programs for criminals, free buses, so mental patients can assault you on buses as well as subways. This is his dream. This. He just said it. Whew. That's a lot to swallow right there. And by the way, why the hell does New York City have to be affordable to everyone? What is that about? Is Beverly Hills affordable to everyone? Has there been this push to make Bel Air and Brentwood, California affordable to everyone? How about the Hamptons down on Long Island? I'm pissed. The Hamptons aren't affordable to everyone. Why is New York City this place that needs to be affordable to everyone? Some places are just really expensive to live. That's how it is. New York City is an industrial area. It's a commercial area. The residents that are there, I understand some of them have to be, but for the most part, live on the outskirts. If you're a person that works in New York, you're a housekeeping for a hotel or something, I'm sure you live in Jersey or some parts of Long Island, perhaps. They got a great Long Island Railroad could take you in there. Jersey. How much public transportation is available from Jersey to New York City? There's everything. Why the hell does New York City have to be affordable to everyone at the cost of the people that are paying the bills? It's hard enough to live in New York as someone making a lot of money. And not just the expense, the risk of living in New York City. But for some reason, there's been this thing. They say it all the time. And I just have never heard why. Why does New York have to be affordable to everyone? City, Manhattan. Why? Why affordable housing there? I don't know. I've never heard an answer to that. I've only heard we have to pay so that people that can't afford to live in a city like New York can now live there. Huh? What? Why? Yeah. I'd like to live in Scarsdale. Is that still a place that's like hoity-toity in New York? I don't even know. I'm glad I don't know. I'm really glad I don't know. Because leaving New York was one of the greatest things I've ever done. Ever! And I come back once a month to do this magnificent show from the wonderful New York studios. And I've said it before, as I come in, that approach to LaGuardia, if it's a direct approach, I look out to the left and I see Manhattan. I see that amazing Manhattan skyline, unlike any other city. A lot of other cities are spread out. You fly into L.A., it's just, who gives a crap? It's all flat, stupid. They got that one city center, a couple of buildings. Manhattan is damn impressive. And the surrounding areas, Long Island City, even Hoboken and some of the areas in Jersey across the Hudson, the bridges, so many of these magnificent suspension bridges. Architecturally and, just getting a good look at New York City, it gets me. It gets me when I fly in once a month. And then I get in a cab. And that once a month becomes like a period. I get cranky. I get cramps. I start yelling at people for no reason. New York. What are you going to do? What the hell are you going to do, New York? I'm so disappointed. So disappointed in you. I'm going to cry. Not really. Don't worry about it. When we come back, here's your choice, people. And I apologize profusely, but I have to get to one of these two. It's either Joy Behar blames Trump for Ariana's stabbing, that horrible tragedy that I hope no one is forgetting. This beautiful Ukrainian refugee was murdered by some savage on a train in Charlotte, North Carolina. And Joy Behar wants to blame Donald Trump for that. Or, now you might say, I don't care, whatever the or is, I'll take the or. The latest Rosie O'Donnell Trump rant, direct from the Emerald Isle of Ireland, where she goes off in psychotic fashion about Donald Trump and what she calls him a pedophile, all kinds of great stuff. I'm waiting for the slander suit from Donald Trump about what Rosie's been saying about him. But I think he just wants to ignore her at this point. We'll see. But those are our choices. I apologize. I hope you stick around for the next segment. What else do we got to talk about? Let me see. AOC AOC says that Charlie Kirk is responsible for his own death. That's despicable and amazing. And, yeah, well, plenty more to go in the final stretch here of the Anthony Cumia Show. And you're still on the phone. Hang in there. I'll take a couple of more phone calls from you. Back in a flash with more. Stick around. All of these people, there's a guy right now, just a guy in a rainbow bikini. A man in a rainbow bikini, a leash around his neck with someone leading him down the beach. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing, people. Like I said earlier, there's good and there's evil, and there's a definitive line, and I think we can all tell who's on what side. Who did I want to talk to? Oh, Larry. Larry, Staten Island. What do you want, Larry?
I'm the boss. I'm the boss.
How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, Anthony. Difficult week we had with 9/11 and Kirk. But now I'm going to move on now to this clown show. This guy Madami is like the unknown comic. Remember the unknown comic from
Gong
Show?
Yep.
Yeah. This guy is now pulling back the original proposals he had at the beginning of the campaign. For instance, I'll give you an example. With the police, he's got a hammerhead for the police department.
Yep.
He's pulling back he's making an apology for calling them racist and anti-queer. I haven't heard the word queer since 1962. I haven't.
It was what you called your dumb friend when he wouldn't pick you up in the car to go to the bar.
Yeah.
It was like what that word came from. I don't know.
Yeah. But you know what? He wants to do a hammer job on the cops. And you know what? I look at this from a different perspective because I was on the job. I know what it's about. He wants to have social workers responding to emotionally disturbed jobs. For those of you who don't know what it's EDPs. I used to get a knot in my stomach knowing I was going to one of these jobs because you don't know what you're going up against.
Yeah, the mystery of that, you don't know.
A shotgun, a pot of hot lye. Now, I can just see this happening with these social workers responding. It's going to be like, remember the commercial in 1975 with the gorilla in a cage with the Samsonite suitcase?
It was actually, something, Larry, you give me a great opportunity here to clear things up. It was not Samsonite. It was American Tourister. And I remember the commercial vividly because I've used it in so many memes over the course of the years.
Okay.
Yes. Continue, Larry.
Okay. But, listen, people in New York City, they say that the Labor Day is the borderline, it's the crossover line to the start of the campaign. There's not much time here now.
No.
Go online. Listen, people, go online. If you like Curtis, Google Curtis, find out where his campaign headquarters are. Go there, volunteer, do something. Hand out palm cards, knock on doors, do something.
Anything.
I feel like we're going down the tubes quickly, very quickly, and it seems to be a metastasis, like a cancer metastasizing. Look at it in Chicago, what you were talking about before.
Yep.
God bless this city, and God bless my cops, and you.
Good for you, Larry. I love it. I love your take on these things, and you were in it. You know it. You see what's going on, and I appreciate the call, Larry. Larry's a good guy. Hey, I can only get to one of them, so we're going to go with Rosie. Here's the latest Rosie Trump rant. Let's listen to the bloated, sores all over her mouth. God knows what she's been doing. Rosie O'Donnell on Donald Trump.
Yeah, listen.
She sounds so
Child
happy.
abuse is a serious thing. And we have a predator in the White House.
Yeah, predator.
That's the truth.
Truth. Do it.
And he's trying
to
do all this political theater we're seeing is to distract everyone and have them love him again. So he could go down Fifth Avenue and shoot anyone that he wanted. That's what he said.
Shut up.
People love me so much, I could go down Fifth Avenue and shoot someone and get away with it.
Get away with it?
That's where
She's
his
such
mind
an
went.
idiot.
About people loving him, that he could kill someone and get away with it?
Metaphor. You dumb.
This is not a stable human being. Not a stable human being.
And she is? And she is a stable human being? What garbage she is. What garbage. Yeah, Trump was saying, I'm so popular because the opposition is so repugnant and hated that I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and they'd still vote for me. And it's a metaphor. You slob. President called her a slob. Who am I? She moves to Ireland. She won't shut up. Go pick a couple of four-leaf clovers. Go have a good time with a shillelagh. Pick up a shillelagh and make believe it's a man that would actually be attracted to you. Can you do that, Rosie? Maybe that'll help you out for a couple of minutes. Oh, my God. I got to tell you, folks, I love doing this show. It's great. Like I said, it's a bit of a vindication for me over the course of the years. I've been persona non grata in the broadcasting annals of history. But it's just you people, the people that listen every week, support me. They go to my social media. They watch videos that the station puts up and that we put up on my podcast. And it really shows that things have turned around. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Things are changing. Don't get too black-pilled. We see it happening. Unfortunately, there has to be martyrs. I hate that. But it really exposes who the real enemies are. We'll be back next week. Watch my videos on X, Anthony Cumia.